I watched the Grammys last night. The blackest shit I've seen in a long ass time. I actually watched the whole thing. That's not like me. This is Mr. Fox the Refuse podcast. It has been a minute trying to get back into giving y'all something to talk about, something to discuss. The Grammys last night, I actually did a live reaction. I actually sat through the whole thing. I did not live react to everything. The focus was if it ain't black, I ain't back. But you know what? Surprisingly, it was very, very black. Um, even though Beyonce and Kendrick were up for the most nominations, um, the big takeaway was that they each got one of the big three. I know Kendrick got, I believe, Record of the Year, Song of the Year, and he got another one that wasn't broadcast. Beyonce, on the other hand, this was the bigger thing. Last year, a lot of people thought she was doing too much. That the Cowboy Carter album wasn't going to take, and that it was a moment of posturing and assimilation, and it's not all that country, and K. Michelle is the real country artist. It the same kind of cycle anti Beyonce train that has been active since her DC4 days. Some of y'all just won't let go of this notion that she is ultimately responsible for the demise of the original lineup of DC4. Y'all have not let go of various things. The bias and the prejudice against Beyonce continues to show up in the room. Every time y'all get to the keyboard, y'all got something to say about this girl. When at the end of the day, she don't know you. So you didn't think it was possible. You didn't think she was country enough, which is odd to me because Houston is as country as it fucking gets. Like, in the same breath that you recognize and acknowledge Megan to be country in Houston, and you recognize who else is from down there? UGK. I don't know if 8 Ball MJG, but that's all Houston. And Beyonce is just as Houston, and so is Kelly, and so is Latavia and Latoya. But for whatever reason, last year y'all honestly did not see it for her with Cowboy Carter. Me, on the other hand, I played Cowboy Carter out for an entire month, and I believe my Spotify rap shows that. Like, for the entire month, if it wasn't Beyonce, it was definitely Larry June, and I'll get to him in a minute. So those of us that have been outside for the longest time are aware, and the North remembers, that early on Beyonce showed herself as a solo artist to be something different than your standard R&B, your standard pop, just altogether different. And as somebody that has been there since day one, Beyonce is almost a year older than me. Yeah, almost a little over a year older than me. Altogether different, very, very serious, has studied and has evolved, right? Beyond statistics of, the shelf life of R&B. I've said it on the podcast many times, and there's probably an episode or two about Beyonce on this channel. The last superstar of our generation, right? So when Cowboy Carter came out, y'all were still wearing the aluminum foil. Y'all was still wearing the silver this and the lame that and everything from Renaissance. Y'all went and saw the movie and everything. And it definitely took most of y'all, this is my opinion, to really get into Cowboy Carter at first. I, on the other hand, I was like, not only is this an extension of Renaissance, but really expands who she is as an artist. And definitely bringing country back to black artists because, we did it first. We did rock and roll music first. We did jazz first. We did blues first. We did R&B first. We were the first pop superstars. Even when they tried to convince us that Elvis is the king of rock and roll, Will Richard said, hold on, bitch. And Beyonce made it a point. Cowboy Carter is so black. She not only kept it fresh and current, but she also brought along long forgotten country artists such as Linda Martell, while also highlighting other black country artists. Even when she won last night for Best Country Album, here comes the anti-Beyonce train. Oh, she's not even country. She's from Houston, a place that probably some of these people never been to. There are other black country artists more deserving. I believe the black country artists on the album also won a Grammy by proxy. It's so funny to me how people have such a superficial counter argument or try to spin something up, but you ask them to name black country artists that they knew of before Cowboy Carter. Quiet as a church mouse, right? Then here's the other thing. I knew something was up last night when, Trevor Noah said she would be in the building. He called it. And then this is how, kind of goofy production is with these award shows. As the camera's on the person in the center of the room talking on the mic, you literally see Beyonce, Blue Ivy, and Julius. You can't tell me Bodyguard from Cowboy Carter isn't her singing to Julius. That's my thought. But you literally see them walk in moments before they get to the category of Best Country Album. So I already knew. That is so rich. Back in the day, you had to sit through the award ceremony. But there's Rich and there's Beyonce Rich. I'm doing the Oprah. Rich and Beyonce Rich. She comes in literally seconds before the Best Country Album. She probably was already in the building, but was like, don't sit me in front unless I'm going to win. Then she was surprised. A lot of people said that was staged. She knew before she got there. I think after about 25, 30 Grammy wins, you kind of get the sense. And those of us that were locked into Cowboy Carter last year knew exactly the message and the, the shots, I want to say, that Beyonce wanted to send with this album. And just when you thought it was safe, just when people wanted to not believe it, the moment she was announced as the winner for Best Country Album last night, the sour look on Casey Musgrave's face. It better not be a Tay Swift win. I know that much.
As selected by the 13,000 voting members of the Recording Academy, the Grammy goes to Cowboy Carter.
Baby Smiling Album of the Year winner. One of the big five. Album of the Year that's typically gone to either Adele, she had the year off, or Taylor Swift, who I believe I've said to y'all is a old white man committee's dream. Singer songwriter and a female. Like they love it. Um so yeah, like I definitely feel like Jay-Z called it and the stars definitely aligned. When he got the Dr. Dre Global Impact Award last year, he called it. He was like, how is it that you have the most Grammy wins but not album of the year? And at first I was like, you can approach that from many different angles. Like that's not the two are not mutually exclusive. Um, for album of the year, it's like it's undeniable the impact that this album has had for the 12-month cycle within the time frame requirement. Um, and for him to kind of already set the tone, and then the album comes out the following month, I'm like, these two are a force to be reckoned with. And Beyonce really, honestly, didn't have to do much. That's the funny part. Like, when you have an album of the year win and a best album win, not just song or record, there are usually visuals and music videos. There wasn't any of that for Cowboy Carter. That's the amazing part. And leading up to the album of the year, they were like, I was with y'all. They're going to play in her face the entire ceremony. This best country album thing was just a token. They felt bad for not, revering the Renaissance album, blah, 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 blah. And they're just going to end up giving it to a white woman this album of the year thing. Beyonce got two big ones, and she got best performance with Miley Cyrus. That song, those two voices together, Two Most Wanted, that should have got a music video. But who am I? At the end of the day, the days got to end, and people are still going to complain. People. There's two things that need to happen for things to really have considerable change, or for us to see it. A lot of people out here need to evolve their tastes. Like, really get into the music, especially the history of the music when it comes to country. Once upon a time, we had all this shit. And there's a line or a thread through all the genres that starts with us and always has. So I don't understand why people just can't seem to get around the fact that a black person can win Best Country Album. And for the record, Beyonce is not the first woman to win a Best Country Grammy. The Pointer Sisters won it in 1975. The Grammys were in such a rush on Twitter to put a piece of misinformation out there. Almost like here, damn, she won. But she wasn't the first black woman to win. The Pointer Sisters were in 1975. Kendrick Lamar, that was diabolical. For him to win not only one Grammy, but I think at least three for a diss record, that was truly something magical. Never before has a diss record won a Grammy. Not Ice Cube's No Vaseline, no Hit 'Em Up by Tupac, not even I Shot You by LL Cool J. What else is out there? Like, no rap diss record before. And the Grammys got it right, because that song was everywhere. And just, even if you've never heard the song at all last year, watching the audience, including Taylor Swift and Beyonce, sing along to Not Like Us when they played it as he was coming to the stage, that's how you know that shit was deserving of a couple yearly awards and a couple of other awards. And trust to believe, you've heard it here first, Kendrick Lamar is going to sweep the Grammys next year because of his GNX album. And dare I say that SZA may also be nominated for a couple of Grammys next year for the Lana album. And I feel like she is once again TDE is continuing to hold her hostage because why are we getting sidebar? Why did we get after 2 years since the release of SOS just another deluxe version of SOS? Lana had enough material to be a standalone album, but that's how they do. It's like, does this even satisfy the album requirement in a contract if it's just if it's pushed and promoted as a deluxe album of her second studio album? A friend of mine said her voice is shot. I was like, don't do my girl like that. Don't do my girl like that. Um, I was not here for Chappelle Roan. I mean, good for her for winning Best New Artist. That's cute. I didn't get the whole dunce cap thing. I was initially in my reaction cracking jokes about some of the shit I saw, and she was not spared. Um, Good for her for being gay like me and gay like many others. But I didn't forget last year. I didn't forget that this woman is related to a lot of folks that still can't pronounce the former VP's first name, and she's one of them. A couple of red flags that I didn't forget. Chappelle Roan has always struck me as a person that is looking to have a moment and looking to complain about stuff. Like, that main character syndrome that white people tend to display. Like, everything just has to be a thing, and you have to make it about you. I've always been of the mindset, like, just clock in, do your job, and go home. You're all of about what, 20 something? And you have shot up pretty fast, like doing big audience arenas. Yet here you are crashing out on social media, crashing out on red carpets, and I'm just like, don't end up a one album wonder. But moving on, Doechii won Best Rap Album. Love that for her. I believe she also won another Grammy. Love that she brought her mom up. If she was not going to win Best Rap Album, I was going to throw my phone out the window. I mean, quiet as this cap. Who else besides me didn't listen to any of the other albums in the category? Like, I forgot J. Cole even put out an album. And Eminem as well. Like, he's won enough Grammys, and this is what, like his 14th, 15th album. Meanwhile, Doechii was everywhere last year. And the replay value for Alligator Bites Never Heal, crazy high. I would love to see Larry June in the best rap album categories, because there's no way this man for years has been putting out albums and it hasn't caught on. But trust and believe, I think this upcoming album with Alchemist will hit. It will definitely hit. But Grammys was black as shit last night. Die With a Smile won. Lady Gaga, Bruno Mars. Bruno is one of us. I feel like Lady Gaga may be reeling me in with this upcoming album. Her mind sometimes, I'm like, only you would drop the visuals, a treatment for the next single called Abracadabra. And of course, I was shimmying my shoulders. I'm like, okay, Stephanie, you may have reeled me in. You may have tapped into the monster in me. Because I didn't catch on to the bad romance poker face thing. Not even when Kid Cudi sampled Poker Face for his song with Common and Kanye West was I like, okay. And I'm probably one of 5 people that have her Art Pop album. I like that album. Yes, and I skipped that song with R. Kelly. But I like that album. It's a trip. But I got the cheek to cheek album she had with Tony Bennett, and I think I got the second one that she did with him before he passed. And a lot of y'all are saying she found her next duet partner in Bruno Mars. You might be onto something. Um, and I mean, I kind of like the duo era in Bruno Mars, like the Sonic. Almost said Sonic Youth, the the Sonic shit with Anderson Paak. Very very cute. Um, but he hasn't real Bruno Mars hasn't released an album in almost like a solo album in almost 8 years, I think. But he's still doing the thing, wet and juicy with sexy red has grown on me. And I'm curious to see what 2025 looks like. He's been eating it up with the singles. I ain't even mad one bit. And Lady Gaga, count your motherfucking days. You got me with Abracadabra. You got me Die with a Smile. Disease. The music video was probably too trippy for me, but I feel like one of your previous errors is trying to kill your current one or something. And that's what I took from the little snippet I saw. But Die with a Smile, I like that shit. And congratulations to y'all. What else happened? Yeah, Chappelle Roan won Best New Artist. Um, I really okay. So for the audience was kind of dry. I ain't gonna lie. They were kind of dry. Um, they didn't get on their feet when Gloria Estefan came out, and I'm like all that applause you gave Jennifer Lopez, which is cute. All the applause that you gave to Shakira, which was cute, really should have been on steroids when Gloria Estefan came out because the North remembers if there was no Gloria Estefan, there would be no Jennifer Lopez or Shakira. And there were enough older people in that room to stand up and recognize Gloria Estefan and her impact. That's just me. Um, some very funny, interesting moments. Last night, Mother, Diana Ross came out. When she came out, I instantly thought that Beyonce was going to get the win for, I believe, Record or Song of the Year. And I think in the back of her mind, Diana Ross thought Beyonce was going to get it because when she saw the name and she read it and she stood on the side and saw it was Kendrick, she was very professional. But we all know when the energy is different. When it's somebody that, you revere, you see a lot of yourself in versus this rap thing when you're an artist from the 60s. But it was still nice to see Kendrick get starstruck and all of that stuff because that's Diana Ross. Like, don't play in her face. Even in that cute little white cat suit. I was like, see, Diana Ross has been trying to tell y'all she's still a baddie. At 80, soon to be 81. She still look good. She still sound good. She's like, look, if you kept it, flaunt it. Cardi B came out. That was cute. Where's the album? I like to think that you weren't using the Migos to songwrite. I like to think that, but I'm just scared that, since you and Offset aren't together and there's only two members left, are we ever going to get a proper second album? Where is it, Cardi? Uh, what else? Something has to be said, and I'll say it. That for for the for it to only be three three female rap album winners, considerably almost 10 years apart from one another. I think, yeah, Lauryn Hill won in 99, 2000. Cardi B won in 2018. That's almost 20 years. And then Doechii won in 2025. It's crazy. But what's also even crazier is that the woman that y'all claim held down hip hop and had it on her back for about 10 of those years in there has not won Best Rap Album. Totally skipped over her. There's something to be said. Now, I don't know if it's a crazy fan base. I don't know if it's the marriage thing. I don't know if it's like multiple PR disasters and the list goes on. But I'm not one of the Barbs, but I will say the Pink Print should have got Best Rap Album. There's something to be said when you're not even a casual listener and a whole album just sucks you in and you still play it since it came out. The Pink Print is that album. And I will never take anything away from that lady, but I just think you really should stay away from certain vices. I know which ones. But it's wild though, like, rap album has been a legitimate form of music for almost 40 some years. It's finally, not only is it in the room, but it is the core element of the room to where even other genres, whether they use it or try to emulate it in their own songs, definitely inspired. And I love that Kendrick made that a point last night. It's not going anywhere. And I love that Doechii shout out Will Smith. For those of you that don't know, Will Smith was the first, along with DJ Jazzy Jeff, first rap act to win a Grammy back in 1987, 1988. Just so you know. And there haven't been a lot of female rap winners or a lot of like rap and hip hop. They, from year to year, kind of like, it's almost like it's there but it's not. Like, it's legitimate, it's a force to be reckoned with, but there aren't a lot of categories. And they try to lump different acts, different black acts together and call it urban contemporary or rap song. But it's not as prominent as like a country or a pop category. Like, there should be multiple rap, hip hop categories because it just doesn't touch one lane, it touches several. But the Grammys were black as shit. Love that for us. I kind of pivoting back to an earlier point about some of the interesting things I saw. Benny Medina looked glossy as fuck last night. Benny Medina. So, Trevor Noah, doing crowd work, made his way over to Jennifer Lopez's table. Jennifer Lopez sitting with Benny Medina. Those of us that have been outside since day one know who Benny Medina is. He looked extremely glossy. He looked like he lost a lot of weight. He looked good. I know he's of a man of considerable age. But here's the thing that tripped me out. You know how you look at like an image or, a piece of video. I'm not a body language expert. I don't work for anybody that pays me to be one. But when the attention made its way as it was going towards Benson Boone, who was one of the two white men at the table, to Benny's left, did I mention that Benny looked really glossy? Like Kodak film? And well manicured, well shined and glistened and moisturized, sitting next to a white man who's not Benson Boone, looking quite, you know the look. It's the same. It's similar to the same look, similar to the same look that Whitney Houston gave Mariah when they were both being interviewed about When You Believe. There's a clip. It looks like they're on a studio lot somewhere. Whitney Houston is in jeans. Mariah's in a black dress, and they're sitting next to each other. And Whitney is looking at Mariah up and down as she's talking. I was like, this is similar looks. Benny wasn't doing all that, but he definitely had a look on his face like, this is my trade, allegedly, and this is Benson Boone in a tight blue catsuit who is about to perform. I wasn't too heavy on Benson Boone last year. I didn't know anything about Benson Boone prior to him leaping and doing cartwheels and jumping off the pianos and subwoofers and shit all over the stage. Very distracting shit last year. It was very much giving TRL Spring Break Cancun. It was very much giving a lot, but I couldn't tell you what he was performing because he was doing a lot of that on the stage, right? Fast forward to last night. He performs one of his songs, and he does similarly the same shit. But by this point, I knew a little bit more about Benson Boone. Benson Boone is from the upper Midwest. I think one of the Dakotas or North Colorado or something, or Utah. Signed to the lead singer Dan Snyder from Imagine Dragons. He signed to his label. And pretty much started out similarly like Chappelle Roan, where it was like they picked up an instrument, they mastered it, they got their vocals, and they were just pretty much plucked from a small town. I feel like they are similar in ways on that regard. Hopefully not the other thing that I'm holding against Chappelle Roan at the moment. So he gets up there in this tight blue cat suit, looking like a Sean Cody model, like a current one, not from the first era, and does his thing. And I'm like, oh, that's him. I remember the high part in the chorus. I was like, oh, that's who that is. Okay. Again, doing gymnastics on the stage. Okay, we get it. You're athletic, you're nimble, got it. What I didn't catch, and the cameramen were quick. Like if you cursed, they were on top of that button. And if you did something that would have got them fined $5 million, they switched to a camera in the back of the damn auditorium. I didn't catch it when I was watching his performance, or maybe my eyes were down on my phone. But before he walked off stage, he adjusted himself in front of the audience. And the camera panned to SZA, who looked equal parts mortified and low-key kind of turned on. I don't know. But y'all were drooling up and down the timeline about it. You hadn't already posted a clip of it. The comment sections were on fire. I was like, oh, okay. See, that's what happens when you be doing a lot. And when you probably don't shower down there. But Benny Medina, I know this is my trade look, and this will be our third at the end of the night. I know that look. I've been outside since Craigslist. I've been outside since Sniffies. I've been outside since Grindr. But all jokes aside, it's great to see J-Lo and Benny Medina back together. I think they had a falling out for a bit. But he keeps her booked and well paid. Moving on to the Quincy Jones tribute. I wasn't clocked in for the whole thing. Cynthia Erivo, ma'am. What was that? Fly Me to the Moon, Take Me to the Moon, one of them. I think a Frank Sinatra song. Girl. With Herbie Hancock. Girl. She can do no wrong when it comes to live performance. And she looked the fuck good. You know, I didn't see Wicked. I was kind of keeping my eye on Cynthia Erivo during the whole night. I mean, she was right smack dab in the damn camera in the center of the room. Started out with Taylor Swift on her lap. Why y'all sharing one chair? I don't want to think that y'all are bumping purses. I'm like, where's Lena Waithe? Are we still supposed to pretend like y'all ain't together? What's going on? Are y'all not together? Where is she? Probably like almost halfway through, they were seated back together. And then she took part in the Quincy Jones tribute, which was cute. There, for me though, it wasn't enough. There weren't enough of his artists. Like, where was Tamia? Where was Tevin Campbell? Where was some of the folks that were on his later albums? Where was Patty Austin? I know you couldn't pull like most of the older artists because most of them are dead. But Will Smith spoke. There was somebody on Facebook talking about why is the camera always on Will Smith? Why is he there? Which I felt like was low-key kind of racially ignorant. Because those of us that have been outside since the 90s, late 80s, knows the connection between Will Smith and Quincy Jones. And possibly the connection between Benny Medina and Will Smith. But, you have a subset of folks out here, these folks, that will make it a point to magnify something that they see and think and try to make it connect to something that's offensive, to make it offensive to them and share it with the rest of us. Apparently, a lot of y'all were wondering why was he laughing at people's houses burning or something. I didn't catch that. Possibly somebody said something funny at the table. We're not there. We don't know these people. And you don't know if this man contributed a lot of money, but y'all want to pick something to have an issue with. But we're picking up on the optics of when y'all have an issue with celebrities, regular people that ain't paying you no mind, people you don't know. Don't think we don't know. Y'all wasn't even thinking about Will Smith, and y'all haven't in a while, and he's about to drop his first album in 20 years. Kind of interesting, but gotta remind them sometimes. But anyway, Grammys was black as shit. I love that most of the Grammy winners were black. Chappelle Roan, her live performance was amazing. Charlie XCX, her live performance was really good. I look at the Grammys sometimes to be caught up on what's new and who's out there. Some people watch them just to complain on Facebook, like, oh, I only listen to, punk rock and all this stuff. I'm like, okay, from the 80s, okay. I still do too, but there's other shit out here. And some of it's pretty good. Like, Phoebe Bridgers, when she won with her group last year, I started listening to her. Good move on whoever's idea was to put her on the SOS album, because Ghost in the Machine, that shit strikes me in my soul. Um, so that's why I watch the Grammys. You know, of course, I'm rooting for everybody black. And of course, everybody black that I love won major categories. Although Doechii didn't win Best New Artist, she won Best Rap Album. It wasn't even close. Hopefully TDE doesn't do her like they do SZA. Hopefully SZA and Kendrick clean up next year, and we shall see. Excuse me. This is Miss Fox Refuse podcast. That is my reaction to the Grammys last night. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. I am still on a high. I will catch you guys next week, and or whenever some more shit goes down. Until then, have a great week, and I will catch you guys next time.